Good afternoon, folks. Today we're going to be working on a Scag Tiger Cat 2. It's got a Kawasaki Ft730V fuel injected engine. This machine's about 2 years old, and I'll show you. This guy runs 1,541 hours, if you can get it to focus there. All right, so it's never had the valves adjusted. Customer concern is that it'll run about a half a day. And again, this guy runs. He's got two of these machines, plus an X Mark, big X Mark, and they run these things. So anyway, concern is they'll run a half a day, and he says he feels like it's starting to lose power. Now, the engine, I can hear some ticking in the engine, and I'm going to start it for you in a second. What I'm going to start with is never had the valves adjusted, so I ordered in some valve cover gaskets for it. Do not reuse your old ones on these, on any of the Kawasaki's. Always replace them, and always use genuine parts. This is the part number for this particular machine, but you need to look up what you use for yours. We're also going to put in a new fuel filter and the manual fuel pump, or vacuum operated fuel pump. This machine also has an electric fuel pump on it also, but we're going to start there. I can't duplicate the problem simply because I don't have enough grass to cut to run this thing for a half a day. It is also getting a hydro service and a couple other things while it's in here. So we're going to start there, and y'all stand by. We'll get her going. Hopefully you guys will be able to hear this ticking I'm talking about. I don't know if it's going to show up on video or not. I'm just going to make this part short. Okay, so we've got the valve cover off now. What we do is we're going to loosen the nut. That is a cammed bolt, okay? So you loosen the nut, you put your wrench on the bolt, and adjust it back and forth until you get the correct clearance in here. Now, as you can see, this thing has a lot of play. I can tell without even putting the feeler gauge in there, that's too much. So stand by and I'll get you set up to watch us adjust it. All right, here's the specs for the intake and exhaust on the Kawasaki's. I don't go by metric. You can if you want. 2 thousandths to almost 4 thousandths. And it tells you, you know, there's your bolt and your nut. It tells you the exact procedure on here for doing this. So let's get you looking at adjusting it. All right, let's show you how to find top dead center. I've got the spark plugs removed just so it's easy to turn by hand. You can remove this cover. There is a procedure on some of these that are not fuel injected. They got a code on the flywheel, and that manual's lib will show you exactly where to set the crank, and they're lettered like A or B and cylinder 1, cylinder 2. Inside the valve cover, it'll tell you, well, you can't see it for the oil, cylinder 1 and cylinder 2. Okay, simple. So the fuel injecting ones are not marked the same. They do not have the same coil. This is our intake valve, this is our exhaust valve. So intake valve, it's on compression stroke right now. I'm going to turn it by hand. Piston going out. All right, now we're exhaust. Okay, now next thing, we are sucking in fuel. Intake valve is open. Now the next step is going to be compressing. Okay, valve coming closed. You can take a screwdriver, and don't be forceful enough. Now just stick it in here and watch the screwdriver push out as we come up to the compression stroke. I'm turning. There's exhaust. I missed it. All right, there's compression. There's exhaust. If I can get the screwdriver in the hole. There's intake. Going closed. Now we're coming back. Compression stroke. There's top dead center right there. At this point, both valves should be loose. Okay? So now, the other way you can do it, open the exhaust valve. I'm turning the engine. The exhaust valve is completely open, so that means this one is completely closed. And then when you go to do the exhaust, turn it until the intake is all the way open. This one is closed, it's going to be loose. And that's where you adjust it. So, it says 2 thousandths to almost 4 thousandths. 0039, which is almost 4 thousandths. I got a 2 thousandths gauge and a 3 thousandths. Very, very loose. Of course we did too. So what we're going to do, 2 wrenches. We're going to loosen this nut. And you're going to have to hold this other one, hold the bolt. It just broke loose. Now, we're going to use the bolt to adjust. And what I'm going to do is a loose 2, just barely loose 2, and then that should be a kind of a middle road. Hard to do this where y'all can see. Now I'm going to take this bolt and just turn it. Oh, see, it just got tight. Right there. Now, the trick is to hold it very still while you tighten this nut without it moving. Hold that bolt still. Let's check it. And take your time with this. It can take you a couple of tries. So that's got just a tiny bit of drag to it. 3 won't quite go in there. Tighten this nut a little bit. I'm sure there's a torque spec on that nut. I just get them tight. Beautiful. That 3 will almost go in there. I'm over 2. So we are good there. Now I'm going to spin it and do the other one. And then I'm going to go to the other side and do the same thing. So that's all it is to it, guys. One more quick note. You adjust valves when the engine is cold, according to Kawasaki. You can look that up. y'all, she's all back together. Let's see if it actually runs. Oh, that sounds a lot better. All that ticking is gone. Isn't that awesome? Adjusting those valves, I believe, made a big difference in how this engine sounds. Guys, we appreciate you guys and gals watching us. Click that subscribe button. Come back to see us. Click the bell. Leave a comment. Thank you, folks. Have a wonderful day.